If you are a senior, or you have someone in your family who is a senior, then watch this video to the end, because I am going to show you 5 foods that you should immediately take out of your fridge. And if you don't, they could cause cancer and even harm you. It's no secret that as we age, our bodies change, and not for the better. Our metabolism slows down, our muscles and bones become weaker, and our risk of developing certain diseases increases. But what many people do and realize is that the food we eat plays a major role in these changes. And by continuing to consume the wrong foods, especially as we get older, we can accelerate these negative effects and increase our risk of developing serious health problems like cancer. According to statistics, only a small percentage of people who watch our videos are actually subscribed. So if you haven't, and at the end of the video you enjoy what you see, do consider subscribing. This will help our channel in promoting more of our health and nutrition tips to more people out there. Thanks for your support. Now let's get started. 1. Sugar and high fructose corn syrup. As we get older, it becomes increasingly important to pay attention to how much sugar we are consuming. And here is why. When we consume sugar, our body breaks it down into glucose, which is used for energy. However, when there is an excess of glucose in the body, it is stored as fat. And over time, this can lead to weight gain and obesity. Obesity is a risk factor for many chronic diseases such as type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and certain types of cancer. Additionally, high blood sugar levels can damage our cells and DNA, which can also lead to cancer. And as if that wasn't enough, consuming too much sugar can also cause our immune system to become weaker, making us more susceptible to infections and diseases. But the problem doesn't end there. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at regulating blood sugar levels. This means that as we get older, we become more susceptible to the negative effects of consuming too much sugar. It's important to note that not all sugars are created equal. For example, the body digests and metabolizes fructose, which is found in fruits, very differently than it does table sugar, which is made up of glucose and fructose. In fact, the body has a limited ability to process fructose, and any excess is typically stored as fat, leading to weight gain. High fructose corn syrup, which is commonly found in processed foods and drinks, is almost entirely fructose, making it especially problematic for those looking to maintain a healthy diet. Research has shown that consuming high fructose corn syrup can lead to increased levels of visceral fat, which is the fat around our organs, and is associated with a higher risk of developing chronic diseases like cancer. Additionally, studies have shown that consuming high fructose corn syrup can lead to insulin resistance, which is a condition where the body's cells do not respond properly to insulin, leading to elevated blood sugar levels and increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes. So for seniors and those looking to prevent cancer, it is important to limit the amount of added sugars and high fructose corn syrup in their diet. This means avoiding processed foods and drinks that contain these ingredients, such as candy, cookies, soda, and sweetened beverages. Instead, we should focus on consuming natural sources of sugar, such as fruit and honey, which also contain nutrients and antioxidants that can provide other health benefits. 2. Salt and preservatives. As we age, it's important to be mindful of the amount of salt we consume in our diet. This is because our kidneys may not be able to eliminate excess salt from the body as efficiently as they did when we were younger, leading to a condition called salt sensitivity. Salt sensitivity can cause our bodies to retain water, which can increase blood pressure and strain our cardiovascular system. High blood pressure is a major risk factor for heart disease and stroke, which are leading causes of death in seniors. Additionally, a diet high in salt has been linked to an increased risk of stomach cancer. This is because salt can promote the growth of Helicobacter pylori, a bacteria that is associated with the development of stomach cancer. When it comes to salt, it's important to choose fresh, unprocessed foods whenever possible to avoid the hidden sources of salt that can be found in processed and packaged foods. And when cooking, it's a good idea to use herbs and spices to add flavor to our meals instead of relying on salt. Regarding preservatives, they are substances that are added to food to prevent spoilage and extend shelf life. Common preservatives include nitrates, sulfates, and benzoates. While preservatives are generally considered safe for consumption, there is some evidence to suggest that they may have negative effects on our health. For example, nitrates have been linked to an increased risk of cancer. One study found that people who consumed high levels of nitrates had an increased risk of developing colorectal cancer. Nitrates are commonly used in processed meats, such as deli meat and bacon, so it's important to consume these items in moderation. Additionally, sulfates have been linked to respiratory problems, including asthma and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD. Sulfates are commonly found in dried fruits and some medications, so it's important to check labels and avoid products that contain them if you have respiratory issues. Finally, benzoates have been linked to an increased risk of allergies and asthma. Benzoates are commonly found in sodas and other beverages, so it is important to read labels and avoid products that contain them if you are sensitive to these preservatives. No. 3. Fried and processed meats. Fried and processed meats, such as bacon, sausage, ham, and salami, have been linked to an increased risk of cancer. The World Health Organization, WHO, has classified processed meat as a Group 1 carcinogen, meaning that there is enough evidence to suggest that it can cause cancer. The main concerns with fried and processed meats are the high levels of saturated fat, sodium, and preservatives that they typically contain. Saturated fat has been linked to an increased risk of heart disease and some types of cancer. Sodium, as we mentioned before, has been linked to an increased risk of stomach cancer. And the preservatives used to extend their shelf life, such as nitrates, have been linked to an increased risk of colorectal cancer. Additionally, cooking meats at high temperatures, such as frying, has been linked to the formation of carcinogenic compounds called polycyclic hydrocarbons and heterocyclic amines. These compounds have been shown to damage DNA and promote the growth of cancer cells. For those concerned about reducing their risk of cancer, it is recommended to limit the consumption of fried and processed meats and instead opt for lean protein sources such as chicken, fish, beans, and tofu. No. 4. Refined carbohydrates. As we age, it's important to be mindful of the types of carbohydrates we consume. Refined carbohydrates, such as white rice, bread, and pasta, are quickly broken down into sugar in the body, leading to high blood sugar levels and potential weight gain. As we mentioned earlier, high blood sugar levels can increase the risk of chronic diseases, such as type 2 diabetes and certain cancers. Additionally, refined carbohydrates typically do not contain essential nutrients and fiber, which can lead to nutrient deficiencies and digestive issues. A diet high in refined carbohydrates has been linked to an increased risk of developing dementia and cognitive decline. This is because high blood sugar levels can damage blood vessels in the brain, leading to reduced blood flow and oxygen supply. In order to maintain a healthy diet, it's important to choose complex carbohydrates that are high in fiber, such as whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. These carbohydrates are digested more slowly, leading to more stable blood sugar levels and sustained energy. No. 5. Alcohol. As we age, it becomes even more important to be mindful of our alcohol consumption. This is because our bodies become less efficient at metabolizing alcohol as we get older, leading to a higher risk of developing alcohol-related health problems. Excessive alcohol consumption has been linked to an increased risk of developing several types of cancer, including breast cancer, colon cancer, and liver cancer. Alcohol is also associated with an increased risk of dementia and cognitive decline, as well as other age-related health problems such as heart disease, liver disease, and kidney disease. Additionally, alcohol can interact with prescription medications, leading to adverse effects. For those looking to maintain a healthy lifestyle, it is recommended to consume alcohol in moderation or avoid it altogether. I would also like to mention that in addition to avoiding these 5 foods, it is important for seniors to maintain a balanced diet that is rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean protein sources. Regular exercise, stress management, and regular checkups with a healthcare provider are also important for maintaining overall health and preventing disease. If you are a senior or you have someone in your family who is a senior, share this video with them so they, too, can avoid these foods that can cause cancer and harm them. And if you want to learn more about the foods that can help fight cancer, click the video on the screen now.